Yes, people. What's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Yeah, I'm wearing my Toronto Blue Jays hat today. This looks silly. I like my other hats better, but I need to go get one of them. As for that, you guys want to see hairline check? Hairline is not looking that bad right now, so maybe I don't need a hat. But hey, regardless, I'm an old man, so my hair's my hair. But how's everyone doing today? We got a very interesting show today. Very interesting show indeed. In case you guys have been living under a rock, Arsenal. Why the hell did I put thriller in the? It's not a thriller. It was a dead rubber. The title was already decided. Liverpool, Arsenal, which should have been a title decider, was far from that. It was basically like just a grudge match. I felt like at times. As for Newcastle beat Chelsea, and Bukayo might be going 4 years without Champions League football. Is that accurate? 4 years? It's 4 years now, right? Crazy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
4 years Chelsea have not been Champions League football.
If they don't get it, but the thing is, Forest also, they had it in their grasp, right? They could have really put it.
Oh, the Nottingham Forest Leicester game. The thing about Nottingham Forest Leicester, that was crazy too. Did you see the owner of Nottingham Forest owner came onto the pitch?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Never seen that in a while. Like an owner come onto the pitch. That was crazy.
I think that was embarrassing. He should have done that outside the camera. I think even though Nuno tried to play it off as something light, but I think it was not great.
That was a bad look. Manchester United and Spurs also embarrassed themselves.
So did City. City also embarrassed themselves.
Man City embarrassed themselves.
No, they
Southampton embarrassed Man City. Did you see the post that they put on social media? No, Ruben Diaz embarrassed you guys.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, unfortunately.
Because after you drew to Southampton, bottom of the league, Southampton, one of the worst teams in Premier League history, he comes out and says, "Well, they didn't play football." Yeah. What do you expect?
I know, and at the end of the day, we always know that these teams will pack the bus against us. And for him to come and say that, I don't know. I think he was just salty, but they have been talking too much this season. Some City players, they have been talking a lot of game, but they haven't been showing it on the pitch. I think that's why even Pep.
At least Rodri, when he speaks, he backs it up. The person I'm looking for, just like Vader going missing, Foden's going missing again.
He's saying.
The last two times he started, coincidentally, you guys did not win.
He's going through it this season, and I think at the end of the day, a lot of City fans actually wanted him to be given time off and just take him off, because the stuff he's going through with his operations and sickness. For the fact that he had that operation last year and still came back, and then this year there's something else that's coming, and he looks skinny. I don't know if you saw him, and the rumors are apparently he's fighting an illness, but people are like, take him off, because what's going to happen is people continue just asking questions, about him. So, to be honest with you, you're right. A lot of players are talking and they're not backing it. Silva has been talking this season, hasn't been doing anything. KDB is just salty because he's not getting that contract. The announcers are right, man. And then let's talk about. Let's
talk about this right away.
Yeah, that was about to say. I was like, this weekend there's a lot of embarrassing things. This weekend, a lot of embarrassing things. That's including that banner.
The Liverpool banner. Yeah. The Liverpool banner. I found it to be very disgusting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was.
I found it to be very disgusting.
It was classless. I think because Liverpool fans like talking about class. That's not class, right?
It's funny. It's funny, Gal, because I saw that you tweeted about it, and I went through all of the comments on from your tweets, and I only found one person who agreed with you. And even when we were on the terrace earlier, there were two other Arsenal fans. None of them mentioned taking any kind of offence. So I appreciate you're entitled to feel how you feel. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is the vast majority. But the fact of the matter is the vast majority of people don't feel like that.
All right, there's a large majority that do.
Can I say something?
Just look at some of the tweets on Arsenal Twitter. You got Arsenal last season coming to show respect and showing class and paying respect to the situations that happened in the past.
But Miguel, what does this have to do with?
No, this has to show my club captain and my manager showing
Yeah.
respect to Liverpool when we
Yeah.
came to visit you
And-
in the memory of what's happened, because we're gonna play a game in like the 50th anniversary or something.
This is about people dying, Igal. This is
No,
about something.
I'm saying
This is about.
I'm
This
showing
yeah, but this
my
is no,
players.
but yeah, I don't understand why you're
I'm
conflating these
not.
two issues.
1 second, Rack. In all due respect, I'm not even coming with a banter point. I'm being dead serious when I say this.
I'm being dead serious as well. But this is not. This is irrelevant.
Arsenal showed respect to Liverpool in every single way, to the point where even we've gone over and above, and we've come to your ground, and we're the only team to go to the site and to pay respect.
That's Igal. With all due respect,
nobody does that.
Igal, you are absolutely 100% wrong. Almost everybody who comes to Anfield goes and pays respects at the Hillsborough Memorial. There were countless people who come and do that. Fan bases, foreign fans, Real Madrid have been there, AC Milan have been there. So many teams come there and do that. So you're wrong on that fact.
I have not seen it.
You have not seen it, but I don't understand why you say that without knowing the facts. You've just made up in your mind saying that Arsenal are the only people. You haven't done any research into whether the fact that Arsenal are the only team who do that or not.
Okay,
so that makes that point completely redundant. And actually, to be honest, Igal, I think it's a little bit distasteful to bring that up. Why have you got to bring up? Why are you drawing parallels between a Hillsborough Memorial where people died and something that was meant as pure banter? This is meant as pure. Your intentions are more important, right? Do you think Liverpool had any intention to cause people offence, or do you think it was banter? Like most people that experience banter. I think this is a crazy parallel to draw.
Rack, I honestly, this is not even banter. I'm being real serious right now. And if you're upset, I don't mean for you to be upset, but understand my point. I'm saying as a club, we show respect. We don't come there to disrespect our opponents. And what happens on the pitch happens on the pitch. Even the fans, as much as people say Arsenal fans are unbearable, we're the first people to put rivalry aside and show solidarity to Spurs when one of their players got disrespected. When Bukayo Saka had his situation with the racist stuff, you had Spurs fans showing things. I think this right here, there's a level, and I feel like it's crossed that level. That's why I'm bringing up things of respect. I feel like it's crossed the level where I don't feel like it's about respect anymore. It's classless. It's disrespectful to a further level.
Okay, I think you're entitled to feel like that. That there's absolutely nothing wrong with you feeling like that. But I think the vast majority of fans of all backgrounds don't feel like that. So you're unique.
I go on social media within my own Arsenal fan base. I see numerous accounts speaking about it, saying Liverpool is a club that holds themselves to a high regard, talks about class, talks about how they are the first person to be outraged if something happens. But to do that, like, I have no problem with the Martin Odegaard banter. I have no problem with the photo, the picture, and the thing. What I have a problem with is the banner of Mikel Arteta in a dress, which I find disgraceful.
Why?
I find it disgraceful over the top. And I think Liverpool Football Club, if they seen that before the game, they would have asked them to not.
Also, that's a whole different thing, right? Because you don't know whether Liverpool Football Club as a club did see that before, right? But anyway, I don't care. I don't find it disrespectful. I think it's banter. I think it's funny.
And I don't think anything I said on this stream is disrespectful, Rack. I'm bringing up the parallels of how we are as a club.
I think it's actually distasteful to bring up the Hillsborough Memorial in the same context as this, because the meaning and understanding behind it is two completely different things. The ramifications of people dying, going to a football match, not coming home alive, far exceed any kind of banner or situation. Honestly, I think it's actually distasteful, to be honest. I don't know why you would bring that up.
I'm showing you that we pay respects. I'm not saying we're disrespecting people who passed away. Obviously, that's far from
no, you're not. I understand you're not disrespecting the people who've passed away. I don't take it like that. But I think it's distasteful the fact that you're bringing up two things that are wildly different.
I'm just
showing. They're not even in the same stratosphere.
You know what? I'm not gonna further escalate this conversation because it's not necessary to go further down this route. I do agree with you that Obviously, some things are bigger than others, but I'm just showing that Arsenal as a club, when we come to your ground, we come with a certain level of respect. And I just felt like the fans showed a level of disrespect which we would not show to your fans. You've come to our ground. I don't think Arsenal fans have ever taken it to the level where they've mocked a player, or done anything crazy like that. Banners and stuff like that don't go flying about all the time. I feel like that is intentional, and that's taking it to a level that's above and beyond. It's as if we're fierce rivals. Like I don't see you doing stuff like that, mocking Fergie back in the day. I've never seen you guys doing stuff like that, mocking Fergie. Please educate me if you have. I've not seen you mocking Pep like that. I've not seen you mocking
when David Moyes, when we beat Man United 3-0 in David Moyes' first and only season as Man United manager, we unfurled a banner that said David Moyes specialist in failure. We have had other banners that we've targeted other people with where they said and done silly things, but just as most fan bases. But it seems like, Gal, and maybe I'm reading into it in a different way. You personally are more offended with this, and whereas the vast majority of other people haven't even mentioned. As I said, we were on the terrace.
Patrick's a neutral.
Patrick, we were on the terrace earlier. We were two other Arsenal fans. The banner wasn't even mentioned or brought up in any context whatsoever until you arrived on the stream, and you proclaimed how.
Rack, everyone's different. Some people are going to voice their opinions on things. Some people are not. I personally think it's something to bring up. They did not feel like it was something that they wanted to mention.
That's fine. But the question is, if you and a very, very small number of people are feeling it, how important is it to address it, or how significant is this level of disrespect? Because it seems like I understand you feel disrespected by it, and maybe Patrick can sympathise or other people can sympathise with it. But is this really that serious an issue? And is the degree of seriousness that you're attributing to it fair? I don't think it is.
What you have to understand is a large portion of the Arsenal fan base might not like the manager, and they find this funny, and they like the fact that the manager is getting picked on and getting disrespected publicly. I think it's embarrassing. I think Liverpool fan who made it should be ashamed of themselves, and I think the club, it makes them look bad, and the club probably, if the club is not going to come out and say anything, but if they've seen it, they probably would have done something, in my opinion. As for why I think it's distasteful, I think you know why I think it's distasteful. As for Patrick, what do you think on this? I want to know. What do you think? Are you with me? Do you think it's a thing that's distasteful?
For me, all I can say, and I'm speaking to Liverpool fans, and I hope you're watching. Going forward, going forward, Liverpool fans, I don't want you guys coming at others or saying, "Oh, you guys are being disrespectful," or "This is not funny," or going after players like Bernardo Silva when he did not clap hands. What I've noticed about Liverpool fans is this. I know Liverpool fans are laughing at this. Obviously, I thought it was Photoshop at first. Right? When I saw it, I was like, I can't believe this. I was like, this has to be Photoshop. And then I saw it, I was like, Liverpool fans are saying it's cool. But I think if it was the other shoe, I think you guys will overreact. Because I've seen you guys when small things just happen. Because I remember when Bernardo Silva did not clap hands, he just was holding the coffee. You guys went to the point of going to Bernardo Silva's girlfriend, family. You went on his Twitter. He's got a tweet where he said, Liverpool fans, find something to do, go touch grass or something. You guys get too offended. So I'm just saying, if you guys like these games, even the same time when you guys broke our bus, we told you that, oh, this is distasteful. You're like, nah, it's part of football. You guys have no fan base. So all I'm saying to Liverpool fans is, once you start opening this kind of worms, where, let's say, for instance, it's the other shoe, don't be coming with the fact, oh, you guys are disrespecting us, or go this extreme route. That's what I'm saying. Me personally, I couldn't believe it. Like, personally, I was like, no way. I even told the guy when on the phone, I was thinking it's disrespectful. I thought it was Photoshop. I thought it was Photoshop.
What part do you disagree with?
Do you know what?
Do you disagree with the part where they have Arteta's face on the bride?
I think just in general, for it, I think it's unnecessary for the fact you clapped hands for them. Like, you clapped hands for them. And do you have to? I don't think you have to. Like, is it a must for us?
No, it's not mandatory.
Yeah, I don't know. But all I'm saying to Liverpool fans,
go on.
All I'm saying to Liverpool fans is going forward, because you remember you went after Bernardo Silva for that, saying it's disrespectful, saying we are classless. And then now, I think Arsenal fans, if they go and tell you it's classless, I think it's a fair thing. I think it's fair. Look, but I get it.
The thing is,
M.
there's a bit of history with Bernardo Silva and Liverpool, right? Because he posted some stuff on Twitter which wasn't great, and then obviously there was a bit of back and forth about it. And look, I understand people are competitive, but look, if Liverpool have to do a guard of honor at some point in the future, I'd want my players to clap for them. Skelly, whether he clapped or not, it wasn't super clear. Bernardo obviously didn't. That's down to them. I think that to some extent. But Skelly, he's a relatively young kid, right? I don't want to put too much on him. He's had a lot of heat on him. If he didn't clap, then I don't think that's great. But I'm not going to go in too hard. Bernardo Silva was a little bit older, if I remember correctly. Ultimately, I'm not. Apparently so, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah,
not clapping, fine. But I mean, I don't really mind.
He went like this instead of doing like.
No, Igal, it's not actually clear what he was doing. I've seen the video. It looks like he's holding his hands like that, but I don't care. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. I'm not going to go. I'm not. The kids had a lot of people go at him this season. I don't want Liverpool fans to go at him or whatever.
But you see Liverpool fans going at him about that.
People have also started faking stuff, Instagram posts saying this place is trash or something like that, with a photo of Anfield and stuff like that. So I don't want to get involved with that kind of stuff, because some of this stuff we don't know. Some of the stuff is unclear. Bernardo, whether he does it or not, ultimately it doesn't really matter in the bigger scheme of things.
Yeah, Drifty fell for it. Fell for that. That was obviously he's quoting what's it called? He's directly quoting when Madueke went to Wolves, remember? No. Remember when Madueke went to Wolverhampton and said this place is shit?
I don't remember.
That's what they're mimicking. But yeah, I definitely think Liverpool fans were on their case online, but everyone just does silly things online nowadays. You can't take that serious. I think the match going fan having a banner has a much more bigger impact. But yo, M, we were just talking about the banner. Talk to me.
The banner for?
Did you not see it?
No. What was that? What's the banner about?
All right, so you're gonna see this for the first time. Liverpool fans, 2 of them, were holding this banner at the game today at Anfield.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Still, that's deep. That's dark.
It was dark, isn't it? It is dark. I was like, this is dark. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's took time for that. Like someone's put a lot of thought into that, but with the dress.
Personally, I find it disrespectful, rude, and classless. And from a fan base that holds themselves at high regard, one of the fan bases that hold themselves at the highest regard in the league, really and truly one of the most respected fan bases, Liverpool, I find this classless. And Rack, if you cannot understand that, I don't know what to say to you.
He don't care, bro. It's just like, do you know what I mean?
No, it's okay. It's not a question of me not understanding it. I say I have a difference of opinion. I don't care. I don't think this is that important. You're the one that's imparting importance on it. I don't think this is important. You may be offended by it, but with all due respect to you, I don't really care if you're offended by it, because people are entitled to express themselves how they want to. If they want to bring that, whether they think it's disrespectful or not, it's fine. I wouldn't have chosen to do it myself. But we can't just choose to be outraged about stuff that people don't mean with malice. This is not meant by malice. This is banter.
Just a bit of banter, yeah.
Fine. I'm not questioning it, but I don't have to subscribe to your level of outrage or vice versa. We're entitled to express ourselves how we feel and what we feel is important.
I think it is a bit of a. I feel like they did go out their way a bit. It's like, out of everyone, why Arteta?
Oh yeah, you don't do it by accident. It's not done by accident. Someone thought about it.
They knew what they were doing there. Yeah.
This will be a good idea. Let's get something.
But you know what? Before we go into the game, what do you guys think about the Robertson choking Saka stuff? Did you see it?
Why laughing?
You never seen it? All right, let's talk about it.
I've seen it. But let's not put. If you're going to
just
show
play it quickly.
Let's not put. No.
So this is the actual frame by frame.
No. Igal, Start it fully. Show the full sequence of events in real time.
So
It's not
he's
a choke.
walking over. Done.
You know what, Iga? I have to give this to you. Iga, you should have been a reporter. You know the investigative reporters.
So based on our investigation, is that or is that not a red card?
I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure. I don't know if he definitely choked him. Red, I don't know. Like
What do
yellow.
you mean you don't know if he did? What do you?
I don't know if it's
looking
definitely
at?
a red. I don't know if it's definitely a red.
Okay,
Can
bro.
I ask?
Bro,
People
look at
sometimes
the
hold each
grip.
other like this.
Look at the grip. Look at the grip get harder. Look at the grip get harder.
Yeah, but do you think he's
Em,
genuinely
look at the
trying
grip. Em, look at the grip, man. Look at the grip, man. Can't you see it? Em, look at it.
Do you not see that?
I see
Man's
it,
about to rip his Adam apple out.
but maybe he's just trying to like. It's not great defending. It's not great defending, but I wouldn't say it's a red, man. I don't know. Like, how did Saka react to that? Was he on the floor like holding his throat?
Yeah, he was shocked. They didn't even check VAR.
Igal, that's not true. VAR. What people? I don't know why people keep saying this. They keep lying.
Someone said 10 match ban.
VAR checks everything. VAR checks everything. You have no idea. Igal, you said you've just done it again, right? You have no idea. No, Igal, no, wait. You have no idea whether VAR checked this or not, right? Do you have any idea?
Yes, because
No, how do you know?
When VR is checking something, the commentator would say, "You know what? They didn't
That's
even look
only when
back."
that's only
The
when players
commentator
get
would
stopped.
tell you that they're checking something.
Okay, that's not always the case. VAR checks everything.
Okay, watching the game, I seen them play on and not even give it as a foul. If they noticed it, they would have maybe given it as a foul.
But
They
they
didn't
can't
even
give
notice it.
but
They didn't
VAR
notice
can't
it.
give it.
And I never
VAR
seen-
can't give it as a foul. VAR can't give it as a foul. The referee decides whether it's play on or not. The VAR can review it and then pull the if it's serious. Even if VAR thinks it's a yellow card, they can't do anything about it after it's played on. They can only pull it back if they think it's serious foul play or dangerous play or whatever the terminology is. They can't pull it back for a foul.
Okay, the reports are in the newspaper that Anthony Taylor failed to intervene. He didn't want to intervene. He didn't deem that this was enough to intervene.
Yeah, which is correct. He failed. He obviously didn't intervene because he didn't pull it back.
Saka's obviously Saka's gonna ask what the hell's going on. Robertson's just gonna go on and play, and then Robertson goes up the other end and gets an assist. From my perspective, I'm looking at it as that's a player who shouldn't have even been on the pitch.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not 100% convinced on the red because when you slow it down, it looks much worse. I don't know. Yellow.
Look at it in real play. There's a choke is not just when you've got someone by the throat, right? Because I can do this. Doesn't mean I'm applying any pressure, right? Choke is when you're actually applying pressure.
And the thing is, as well, it's like both eyes are on the ball, so both. Do you know what I mean? They're both just like that. They're both just trying to. So sometimes your hands. I don't know.
So
man.
what's everyone's final verdict? Choke, no choke, red card, no red card. What are you saying?
I'm saying yellow. Definite yellow. Yeah.
Rack?
I think it's nothing.
Yeah, I know.
At the absolute worst, it's a yellow card. But once the referee's played on, the VAR can't do anything about it.
Patrick?
I think he was about to end his career. I'm joking.
He chokeslammed him, bro.
Someone said in the chat, 10 match ban.
You know what, man? I can't on your channel. I can't. You make me laugh. Like the way you do this investigation, man.
Bro, it gets worse. Before we even get to the game, do you know what happened after the game?
What happened after the game?
The pundit said
after?
The pundit came out, former Manchester United goalkeeper, Peter Schmeichel, and said Arteta is a control freak.
Yeah, but how does Peter Schmeichel know that though?
I think a lot of managers are control freaks. I think a lot of high-functioning people are.
What kind of analyzation is this?
But I don't know why you would say that. Peter Schmeichel's not known for his fucking 10 out of 10 commentary, though. Do you know what I mean? He's
Bro, man came out and said, blatantly slated Arteta after the draw at Anfield and just said, you know what, he's a control freak. Do you want to listen to it?
That's just
But
weird.
Pep's the control freak as well. Like most managers, they want to be able to control everything. Most high functioning people, they don't necessarily want
You
to.
guys want to listen to it? Let's hear what he said.
I heard it.
You heard it?
Yeah, but go on.
Why I'm saying this is he was employed as head coach. All right, he inherited a team, and that team is the only team that he's won a trophy with. Then it's his own team now, and in the process, he has now changed his job description. He's now the manager, so everything is on him. It's not recruitment. It's not the board. But he's not working alone. He's not working alone. No.
Bro, what's going on with Peter Schmeichel? Why has he just come? I get it. I'm as a Man United fan, I get it. But where's this just come from?
He's not even done. That's only half. Wait for the second part.
Oh, shit.
They're literally fighting over Arteta.
When you're, and I would urge the viewers today, just whenever they get the opportunity to watch him in the technical area, Arteta is a control freak. He wants his players to play the ball that he wants. He's directing everything. We look across today to Arne Slot, who's so calm. He's instructed his players in training. He's instructed his players in the team talk. Arteta's still playing the game for the players. And that would confuse the hell out of me as a football player, that you have a coach who wants to direct me for everything I do. Yeah. It would confuse me and it would make me a better...
Does he have a valid point? Does he have a valid point, or do you think he's talking shit?
I think he's talking shit. I'm not going to lie. I think he's talking shit.
Ahmed, welcome. In case you don't know, Peter Schmeichel came out with the statement that Arteta is a control freak.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not. But I don't think that's
the same. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, I was about to say that, bro. I think there's some managers where they just want everything, to be done a certain way. That's always. I don't think that sometimes it can be a positive. Sometimes it can be a negative. I think in Arteta's case, well, has gotten him consistently second in the league. He's gotten him close to doing stuff. I think for me, there is also times where you're just gonna need your players just to get the job done, right? In certain situations, right? And I think it's at that point where I think as a manager, you might need to let go of the reins, if that makes sense, right? There's gonna be key situations, certain situations where you're gonna have to say, I trust my players in this situation to get the job done. I just think, as I always say, man, it's about having balance with a lot of this stuff. But again, being a control freak is not necessarily wrong. I had a manager in Antonio Conte that was an extreme, control freak, right? The way he used to get his defenders to do stuff, the way he used to get his midfielders to do stuff, his attackers. I had Jose Mourinho, another guy that used to be is an extreme control freak necessarily. Thomas Tuchel, in terms of the way he used to like teams to be built up and everything like that, is a control freak. Same with the current manager I have, Enzo Maresca, is another control freak. So it's quite common, I'll probably say now in this day and age, to have managers that do that thing, and it's a bit more a modern way of thinking with anything else.
I think a lot of high functioning people who are in jobs which are in powerful jobs have that kind of attitude. They can delegate some things. Like, look, Mikel Arteta has a set piece coach, so it shows he's not a complete control freak. He's willing to delegate power in certain areas, but it's not necessarily wrong to be a control freak in the sense that you want your team to play a certain way and you're trying to position people. I mean, I don't know.
Isn't it ironic that Schmeichel was saying this? Isn't Alex Ferguson a notorious control freak who's his own former manager? So it's quite ironic that it's going from a guy that he is managed by one of the greatest control freaks you ever know. In terms of everything he did, from transfers to what he did on the pitch to what he did off the pitch.
What you have to do outside the pitch, he used to make sure that you guys, where you go out, he has to know where you are. Remember, they used to say, he knew exactly where you are. I don't know, man. I just feel like it's just, maybe it's just, is it language thing, man? Because it's not, should we use that as that? Maybe the way.
You can't use that for Schmeichel, because Schmeichel's been in the UK for a very, very long time, bro. Like,
so he meant what he said, isn't it?
He has kids that were born here and grew up here. Like
his son is like his son grew up here, didn't he? The one that won the Premier League of Leicester.
Yeah, the keeper.
Kasper. Yeah, Kasper.
To me, it sounded like he wanted a clip.
I mean, look, they're in the entertainment business, right? They like outrage. They like the clippable stuff and like I don't know, I don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, man. There's a bigger
You know
fish to
what?
worry about.
Let's get on to the game. Rack, talk to me about the game before we end off this section, because we barely spoke about the game. We spoke about the before and after, but we never spoke about the middle.
Honestly, I want us to slap you, and so I'm a bit disappointed overall. First half, we
Haven't beaten us
were
until
by
now.
far the better team, and I think second half clearly you were the better team for most of it. And I'm disappointed with the result. Look, bigger picture, of course, doesn't really mean that much. But I want us to win every game between now and the end of the season, and we dropped 2 points here. But again, bigger picture doesn't really mean very much. But first half, the performance was very good, and second half, apart from certainly for the first half hour of the second half, it just wasn't good enough, and it just seemed like we were going through the motions. But the fact that the game doesn't mean much kind of takes the area off a little bit.
I view it as one, Liverpool went 2-0 up, and then once Luis Diaz did the night, your players thought the game was over.
But Igal,
your players,
Igal, we were just talking about Peter Schmeichel, right?
Yeah.
Saying silly things just to kind of like get clipped up. Do you think one player doing this? Do you think that automatically has an impact on the whole team that everyone thinks, the game's done, and they're not professional football players anymore?
His mentality was the game was done.
But first, we talked about this on the terrace. What he do? You have no idea why did he do that? You don't know why he did that.
That celebration is like a stranglehold, game over celebration. So for him,
stranglehold, you've got strangling on your mind, haven't you? You're just talking about thingy getting choked out. Now you're talking about doing something in the game getting choked out.
For Luis Diaz to do this night after 2 goals, after 20 minutes, I think the players did not believe we had enough to get back into the game. And that's my analyzation. That's my analyzation of the drop off.
But it's not your analysis. It's your guess. It's your guess as to why he did this.
Let me analyze the game.
It's your guess
from what I watched. You guys dropped your intensity after you scored those 2 goals, and you
continue to play well. We continue to play well for the rest of the first half.
Your attacking intensity dropped off, and you had limited chances until we scored our second goal. Once we scored our second goal, that's when you turned it back on, and once we got the red, you continued to push to try to get the winner.
What did Diaz do anything to kick us back into gear? Then did he do like an anti like wake up? Like I don't know.
Maybe it happened when he got subbed off. Maybe it happened when he got subbed off because you from when you scored your 2 goals, there was a couple chances from then until we scored our second. From then on, it was pretty much you guys said, "Let's see what you guys are capable of doing to try to get back into this game." You put it in the onus on us to score, and you played a little bit more defensive. I did not see the same level.
Have you heard the term correlation is not causation?
No, but let's be honest. Did you guys attack us as much after you scored those 2 goals? No, you didn't.
I think we dominated the whole of the first half. Even after we scored, we dominated.
To be fair, we were the better team at the beginning. We just didn't take our chances, and then you came in. Were clinical, 2 clearly good constructed goals, and then from there on in, the onus was on us, the away team, to try to get back into the game. Second half, we got back into the game, and from the minute we got back into the game, you guys switched the gear back on and tried to go for the winner again.
I know, but this is why it's bizarre that you're attributing so much stuff to Luis Diaz doing a pillows. Like
they're saying Luis Diaz was the key moment in the game.
I'm saying, listen, I've been on a stream where you guys have said Granit Xhaka was the reason why the crowd woke up at Anfield. I'm saying Luis Diaz saying the game was done after 2 goals was kind of like everyone kind of calmed down in Liverpool, and they're like, let's see what these guys are capable of. And from there, I seen a mentality shift. It went from we're gonna win this game and try to get goals to we have a lead now, we're chilling.
Has anybody else? Have you noticed, or are you the only person who's analysed and put these 2 and 2 things together, after all the checking and stuff you've done since the game? Because once again, but nobody else that I know has made this connection.
Me neither.
I'm gonna
Maybe you're just that guy. Maybe you're the analyst.
No. Just look at the amount of shots you have up until the 30th minute, and look at the amount of shots you had after the 70th minute after we scored. Majority of your shots came in that period. Between the moment where you scored your goals and we scored our second, majority of the attack was all on us. We were the ones getting majority of the shots off. We were the ones getting the majority.
But don't you think that's because obviously they went 2 goals ahead and they're at home?
100%. That's why
we can see this game out. It's 2 goals. You know, let's just try and play like a lower block instead of a
also
maybe my wording.
Also, we know your your front line is not really that great, right? So also from a tactical point of view, it makes sense to sit a bit deeper and just catch you on the counter attack. We had several counter attacking opportunities.
You did. You
had so that's also a legitimate tactic that we could have employed, right? Maybe I don't know whether Diaz did this. Maybe that was like that was activate counter attacking tactic or something. Maybe that was what was going on. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I think that's just as plausible as your scenario. Just as plausible as your analysis.
I think we're kind of being banterous here, but on the real, you did drop your intensity, and from when we scored our second, your intensity came and picked back up, and that was by design. I do think you guys kind of paced yourselves in the bit between the second goal and from when we scored our equalizer. And you know what? Fair play. You guys almost could have won it at the end. Luckily, Konate decided to push Miles Lewis-Skelly, and the goal was ruled out because of that. Anyways, overall, the draw was a fair result. We were down to 10 men also. So that means we've gone to Anfield and we've gone to the Etihad this season with 10 men and not lost. Fair.
So, but it was for 10 minutes and it was a legitimate red card. Like if you don't want to get stuck in situations where if you don't want to get stuck in situations where you have a red card, then don't make stupid fouls and then almost celebrate it like it's some kind of achievement. Like I don't know.
It was definitely a red. It was definitely a red, but I thought the result was a fair result. Did everyone think it was a fair result?
I didn't watch the game too much, so I was really irritated.
I don't think it was unfair. I don't think we did
same as me, Ahmed. You know, after that West Ham, I was just so annoyed. I said,
man, I actually was.
Let's talk about Chelsea then. Everyone's done with the Arsenal-Liverpool game.
Patrick, you got anything to say?
No, I think I'm done.
No. I think we've seen the choking. As I said,
we've seen the choking, we've seen the banners, we've seen the 9-9.
You know what? But
he's got nothing about the game, but
one more time. Big up to Gal, man. I've never seen somebody who goes in investigation as much as you do before a game. You know, big up. We should step up on our channels
for next season. You have to have like an investigation section where you go, guys.
Detective Big Up, man.
Some kind of animation happens, and then you do the investigation. And the animation
there was a video that went on Haters TV earlier, and they posted on Twitter that Arteta was basically saying Arteta's not making excuses. He understands the result that happened today, and he's like, I wanted to win, and it's on me. And they're like, accountability. This is what it's all about. And then somebody posted it. They got no likes. They deleted it. And it just goes to show you negativity sells with Arsenal and Arteta. If something positive comes up, nobody's gonna react to it.
Do you reckon your fan base is like? Do you reckon it's 50-50? Because before this Champions League result, a lot of people were saying, Arteta in for one more season, but he has to win something next season. So some fans are willing to give him one more year. Are you part of that group, or are you like, where do you stand on that with Arteta?
Listen, I'm giving Arteta the no excuses. Everything this season that's happened, we have to evaluate it and go back again next summer. I'm not getting rid of him. He's not going anywhere. He's my manager. I back him. And the person who I'm looking at bringing change is going to be the new the new sporting director, Berta. He's going to bring some change, hopefully, with Edu going. So that's going to be the difference that we're going to have. It's not going to be the same as going into next season with the same voices, the same everything. So hopefully that can be the change that can bring some results to Arsenal.
But can I ask a question if that? Because I know I've had you make that point before. I want to know why you think that. What do you think about bringing a new sporting director is going to change the game? That's what I honestly want to ask.
Because I don't really understand that. Yeah. I never thought Edu was was doing a great job. I thought, you know what, Edu was did not have the experience, did not have the know-how, and certain time going into these negotiations, he might struggle because we were struggling to get regular deals over the line. Like
the problem with analysing what a sporting director does,
and then
is
there's
the only
also one more thing, Rack.
That's what I'm saying.
There's one more thing, Rack. For the last 4 years, we've had the same voices in the room. Having a new voice in the room also can make a difference.
Sure. The problem with analysing a sporting director's success or failure is the only metric that you have to do that is the number of players that come in or out, or your trading. And whilst that's part of a sporting director's role and responsibility, it's not the only thing they deal with.
Exactly.
And when your analysis, and when you're lacking so much information in terms of what budgets are, who the guys you genuinely are going for, which one's PR, which one's are smoke screens, all this other stuff, maybe, you know, it's just it becomes very, very difficult. You can only really assess these things over a period of time. Now, you can say that Edu wasn't successful in bringing players in, but Edu and Arteta, they come together to some extent, right? They were both in the job in around the same time. You can't necessarily separate one from the other, because if you're only looking at transfers, that's not a real way to look at it, because that's not the only thing that sporting director does. The sporting director is also a sounding board for the manager. It's also put the other elements of the structure in place. It's going to be all your analytics team, your backroom staff, all this kind of stuff is organised by your sporting director as well.
I think there comes a point where you work with somebody, and if they're a yes man, or if they work too symbiotic, it can become a problem, and you need a little friction sometimes to get the
but we don't necessarily. But we don't know whether there was friction. We don't know whether all we're looking at is transfer. If Arsenal had brought in a striker and a left winger last summer, I don't think you would be saying this, Agal.
Yeah, I agree.
But why didn't we? People who don't watch football, who only watch it on occasion, can tell you that Arsenal are missing forwards. Why did we have Edu employed for this long and not go and get the striker? Is it because they couldn't identify the right striker, or is it that the people in charge are not?
It could be.
But Igal, you yourself, you're asking questions, right? Which suggests you don't know the answers, and yet, even though you don't know the answers, you think Eddie was the wrong guy. That doesn't make logical sense, right?
Listen,
because if you know the answers, then you can.
I think there's two things: either Edu was the wrong guy, or the board held him back so much where he wasn't able to make his signings. And there might be some truth to both of it.
Let me ask you this question. Wait. Let me ask you this question, Igal, yeah, because one of the things that at least I know with my own sponsor at Chelsea, there's a lot of reports from a lot of very reliable Chelsea insiders that will actually talk about that these guys are actually genuinely poor, the way they negotiate, the way they do stuff. Is there, for me, I've not really read that much in regards to Edu to know about what his negotiation stuff is like.
Edu for the first 2 years only did release clauses, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, but still, he was getting some of them right. I don't think it's just down to Edu, bro. It's definitely down to Arteta and the way he wants to play.
It's also about talent evaluation too. I was
going to say, even now, I'm sure you guys have seen Zubamendi. I think you're getting Zubamendi, right? And then apparently you're linked to another left back as well. And it's like, bro,
you know why?
Because Calafiori is going to leave.
Miles Kelly and Calafiori are going to be still here, but Kieran Tierney, Zinchenko, and Kivior could all be going.
You think Partey's going to leave now with the Zubamendi?
So with 3 defenders going out, 1 defender coming in makes sense.
Yeah, but the priority should be the striker, and you're still not prioritizing it.
It is. The number 1 priority is the striker, but adding another player to the list.
Because anyhow you go into next season and you don't sign a centre forward, I don't want to hear no excuses about Arteta and the board.
Bro, if Arsenal do not sign a striker, I think Arteta should resign.
Yeah,
but look at the whole Zubamendi thing as we were talking about, right? Who identified Zubamendi? So who identified Zubamendi?
It was Edu, isn't it? It was Edu.
Arteta. It was Arteta.
No. Okay, but Arsenal were ready to sign Zubamendi 2 years ago, right?
Edu was here.
When Eddie was here, they were willing to activate the release clause. Zubamendi turned Arsenal down. He obviously then turned Liverpool down and turned other clubs down, all that kind of stuff, right? But ultimately, that player was identified by Edu. he was identified better. They were willing to pay. They did everything they could, but Zubimendi chose to stay. Is that Edu's fault?
There is, you know what? There is some things that are not Edu's fault. Like he did want Bruno G. He did want.
He brought you Declan Rice though.
He did want. What do you call it? So Lucas Paqueta. He did want players that he didn't get. My thing is, now that we have Andre, the change that people are looking for, if you can't change the manager, you need to change something, or else you're doing the same thing over and over again, and the same results are going to end up happening. So the change that now is gone on at Arsenal is the sporting director. Hopefully that sporting director change can bring the impact that we need to get us over the line, because I don't think tactically we have a problem on the pitch. I think it's a personnel issue, and to resolve that personnel issue, you need the people behind the scenes to get those decisions correct. And Andre Berta has already shown that he's like, yo, we're not spending 35 million on a goalkeeper. You guys are retarded. Get out of here. Sorry. I don't mean to say that, but like he did say something like that.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
but you know what's funny? I'm looking at your chat and people are agreeing with you. But isn't it the same Edu that helped build this team? Isn't he the one who has?
This is what I mean.
By him being there, you've got close twice.
Yo, guys, we're spending 40 minutes on Arsenal.
I just wanted to ask that because you guys keep insulting him, but he helped build this team.
Edu done a good job, but I think some change needed to happen, and I don't think the manager change was the right decision. Edu leaving because he has now found another job has given us the opportunity to now address a key sporting decision maker that has experience winning major honors and has beaten the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid to trophies with not spending as much money. That kind of value coming into your team is important, I think. I don't know about you guys, but having a good sporting director can help. Look at Luis Campos at PSG. Like, it makes a big difference. But yeah, and look, what he brought us Sterling, bro, on the final day and said this is like, he's like this is a good signing. He was celebrating it. Honestly, I don't know what to say, man. Anyways, big up everyone in chat. And let's get on to the next news. I don't know, Patrick, do you have to go soon? Do you want to talk about Man City first? And then we'll get on to Chelsea after? Chelsea, the big story today, man. Ahmed, I messaged you. I was like, yo, Jackson let you down, bro. But yo, Patrick, do you want to talk about City first, or you want to talk about Chelsea? What are you saying? Do you have time?
About City, all I can say is embarrassing. And it's quite embarrassing because I was doing a reaction and one of the guys came in and gave me another stat that just made me lose my head. He says Southampton, out of 46 games or 43 games, I've only kept 2 clean sheets and one of them is City. Man, I don't know. I don't want to start inspiring people to say that Pep has to leave, but I have to tell people one thing. This football, regardless of the fact that obviously this season we've had injuries, and regardless of the fact that this season it's been difficult for us, and obviously we have been on the golden goose for so long. Obviously this is the first time he's had an issue, but come on, some of the football is becoming a bit pathetic. The same way as that pundit, Michael said, control freak. I think he meant the wrong guy. The control freak is Pep, and maybe Arteta is following what his master is doing in Pep. These guys from this Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, John Clive school, they seem like they love control. That's even the Chelsea manager. They want the players to stand on a certain area. They want the players to do a certain thing, and I think it's becoming stale because I think teams have evolved. Because you know what, Igao? Teams have been watching City do this for so long, where they will move you around on the pitch, and that's what Pep says. My aim is to move them around the pitch, be in certain areas, get you tired by passing. Teams have found a solution. All you have to do is, instead of just the way we used to sit back in the days, is sit back, but also press them in certain areas, get the ball, and they're vulnerable. So I think next season, right? Now that's right. Yeah, they are playing the football is boring, because at least back in the days, people would accuse us of saying, there's somebody in the comments say the football is boring. Back in the days, people would accuse us that the football is boring, but at least there was players that would do something special, and there was even sometimes intent in what we're doing. Right now, there's no intention. I'm sorry, Southampton are bottom with 82 goals and minus 57 goal difference, 11 points in the Prem, only 2 clean sheet. They had 1 clean sheet, and we don't attack them. We just pass the ball, and some idiots in the fan base, sorry for calling them idiots, are telling me that, oh, but control is great. It keeps us away from Southampton scoring against us. How dare you?
Bro, can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
You, Patrick, you did attack them, and I just want to show everybody in case M and Ahmed didn't watch the game. Did you
We
guys watch
attacked
the
them.
game? This is the difference between City and Southampton. These are the difference in chances. So you tell me, is it a shots thing because you had 26 shots, bro? I
Don't
think
look at that.
I think the issue is this. This is the issue. You look at your front three. Bro, Foden, McAtee, and Holland has one shot the whole game. That's
No.
really where it comes down to the problem.
If you look at the stats, you're making a mistake.
No. What I'm looking at is Erling Haaland is your striker, and versus Southampton away, he had one shot in the 90 minutes. One shot. Okay? Not block shots, not deflected shots, not misses off target. One shot the entire game from Erling Haaland.
Because the team created F4. It created nothing.
So the 26 shots went to other people. Kevin De Bruyne had 5. I don't know how many Foden had.
Mamouche came on and had a better impact.
The issue for me is your attack. Your attack is weak.
Yeah, but also whose fault is that? Pep Guardiola set up this attack. He left Mamouche on the bench. He left Doku on the bench. It's only when Doku came on with Mamouche, who came on for 7 minutes. That's what I'm saying. Their City set up by Pep is pathetic. Let me go back to that graphic. Let me even show people something where I think Maresca at Chelsea, you guys have to be careful. Go back. Even Arteta, you have to be careful because they're his students. Can I ask a question, right? And guys on the panel, answer me. If Southampton are cowards like that and they sit back and you know they're going to sit back, what is the point of having 3 centre-backs against Southampton? Do you get my point? If you know that Southampton will pack the bus, why don't you go with Nunes, who has been playing right back and attacking? Why don't you go with Nico Riley and have 2 centre-backs sit back? He only did that in the last 7 minutes.
Right. But just to be devil's advocate, isn't Rico Lewis tucking into midfield already?
Yeah, but I think you don't get it. He does this, right? His system he does. It worked during the treble season. And look, we appreciate it. But I think even when we played Forest, I said the same thing. City don't have to have these 3 centre-backs in the team anymore.
No,
Josko Vadio was not attacking. He was only allowing Lewis to go. There's no point. We need to stop having.
Let me stop you right there. The difference is, let's go to your team. What was it? 2 years ago. 3 years ago. Just look at the squad. Look at the attack. Look at the difference. Look at the difference in attacking quality. Gundogan, Grealish, Jesus, Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne. Now, some of these guys might not be as good right now. But
look at the 4 backs. Look at the 4 backs. You see 3 centre backs.
Yeah, at that time, this is a much more attacking team, much more quality. Let's be honest. You don't have the same quality as you used to. Just call it as it is.
No. Let me be honest with you. There is players on the bench who are capable of replicating this. But guess what? Pep Guardiola doesn't want to do it. I'm telling you this season, Ika. Do you know that it's actually some of the new signings who have saved our asses and the kids who have saved us this season? And guess what he does? As soon as he started winning again, he's gone back to the treble team again, the old people. And then he brings in McAtee. Is he trying to convince McAtee not to leave to go to Leverkusen? I don't know, man.
Let me stop you guys there. Everybody else, you guys just seen what I showed you. Does that City team look anywhere remotely close to the former City teams quality-wise? Let's be honest. Ahmed,
I think only defensively. I think when you look defensively, you've got a better defense. Other than that, they've got Sterling. I think you've signed some players. You got Mamouche. So I don't like you said. There's players off the bench that can.
He benched Mamouche, who's been doing very well. He benched him.
Ahmed, what are you saying?
I think you're kind of correct in that aspect. I think Mamouche is definitely some level of quality in terms of the treble is winning the season, my personal in terms of what he brings. But everything else, I would probably say no. But I don't think that's a negative if you're just trying to get top 4, in my personal opinion, as CER. So they still should be able to get a job done, in my personal opinion. That shouldn't be an issue.
Look, the background to this is the FA Cup final is fast approaching, and they need to get minutes in Haaland's legs.
Mm-hmm.
Because can you imagine going to the FA Cup final? Because that's really the thing that's. I mean, City have had such high standards of recent years that I don't even know if that would necessarily save their season. But obviously, it would be a more positive end to the season if they win the FA Cup. And you can't really go into that. If you've got the possibility of having Haaland playing, you want to get him as many minutes as you can beforehand just to warm him up.
Yeah,
Is it next
it's
weekend,
not
the FA Cup?
30, like I picked it up anyway.
No, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Remember, this week is game week 37, then it's game week 38. That's gonna after game week.
And also,
they can't lose.
but also we're comparing this City
That's
to
why
the
it's wet.
City of 3 seasons ago, which was one of the best teams we've seen in the Premier League era, right? That was the three-peat champions. I think, or they won. When did they win? Was that the year they won the Champions League? No, they won the Champions League after.
No, the Champions League was after. Yeah, those guys left. Jesus left, and that's it.
Yeah. So, like, we also have to bear that in mind. You're comparing to an exceptionally high standard, and sometimes when City are obviously on a down season, and they've had a lot of aging players, and I expect them to recruit a lot in the summer. But that's kind of going to happen, right? Everything does go in cycles. You're going to have a down season every now and then. So we'll see. We'll see whether this is how easy it is for Pep to renew the team. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think recruitment is going to be hard, and I think there's going to be a lot of player trading this summer, and it's a lot to ask. So I think City have fallen back a fair bit. I think it's difficult for them to bridge that gap and get back to their former levels just in this one summer. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. Also, they got a new sporting director coming in as well, so it'll be interesting to see what influence he has on proceedings too.
I think it's on the manager. I don't know. I think it is on the manager. I think some of these games are on Pep because I think there's loyalty, and I get it. You have to be loyal. There is no point of having KDB, Bernardo Silva playing 90 minutes. And you know what's funny? Every time Nico Gonzalez, who's 23 years old midfielder, comes on the pitch, the team looks better and looks like it's a normal Man City. Every time Mamouche is playing as a right winger, we are more dangerous. Every time Doku comes on, we're more dangerous. But guess what? The manager wants to play his boys. And you know what? He wanted to play Foden because he hasn't seen Foden in a long time. He wants to play Marketing because Marketing wants to go to Leverkusen. The manager's done effing up. Even the City fan base know it. They say this was on the manager. And even the United draw, the manager. But anyway, as I said, you know what, I said you and Ahmed, wait for this. It's coming for you guys. So these are disciples. Yeah,
let me show you something. I had Hamza and Hussam on the show earlier this week, and this is what Hamza said to me.
Don't lose to Liverpool because I will win at Southampton. Yeah.
Honestly, it made me cry. It made me cry because it was perfect. It was perfect. Because he lost his shit. Anyways, you're on mute. Let's talk about Chelsea now, though, because we got to talk about Jackson. I'm sorry, I miss Jackson. I am for real. And you know what, Ahmed? Last time, I think this has to become a staple of the show now. Anytime something goes wrong with Chelsea, we gotta ask a question. We gotta ask a question. You know what the question is?
What's the question, mate? I mean, what did he do wrong this game?
It's really just because he's the man. He's the main man. Chelsea.
But what do you want him to do with 10 men? I'm gonna be very
No, he had a bad game though. He did actually have a bad game.
But like, listen, I think for me, we're being kind of a little bit harsh on him in this game, in my personal opinion, because I think the game initially, I think it was a poor mistake by Lavia to let the first goal in for them in the first minute of the game, which, is fair enough, right? But then I think afterwards, what had happened was that the team was kind of very disjointed. You could see it. They kind of had a shock to their system, and then Jackson decided to do the most stupid thing I've ever seen bro. This guy literally, I don't even know. He knows it's VAR that exists in football, yeah. And you know what he decided to do? He decided to legit, push. He looked at him and put his elbow onto his face.
See, bro, if you compare that to what what's his name done, Rack. If you compare that to what Robertson done, it's night and day, isn't it?
That genuinely, but for me, I just look at that. I'm just like, that is genuinely just stupid, man.
Did he cost you Champions League?
He may have, bro. I'll be honest. He may have cost us UCL football.
I think he has.
And I think for me, the big problem I have now, the big problem I have with Jackson is that, he's been poor pretty much for the vast majority of the season. He's been very sloppy. His behavior in terms of what he does on the pitch has been very poor. And it's just like, I don't want you here anymore, bro, with all due respect, man. I don't want you here. Like, I was willing to I was happy with his development, earlier in the season, but now he's just become stroppy, mopey, not getting anything right. And like, I think that is just a sign of poor mentality. I will give the guys credit.
Do you think that's it? He gets sold? That's what you're saying?
Yes, I would like to hope so, yes.
I'm of similar opinion to Ahmed. Like, we both spoke about him earlier this season. I said, like, I was glad that he was proving the doubters wrong after last season.
Yeah.
And he does seem to have fallen back a bit since that point. It's probably since midway through the season. His bad form was coincided with Chelsea's bad form. I wouldn't necessarily throw him out just yet. Like, I think he's still got a lot of tools that he can be effective. Like, as a backup at Liverpool, I'd be interested in him. I think he's got potential still, but he has let his team down there, and arguably one of the most important games of the season.
I think I want to give the players credit, because I do think in the second half we actually played a lot better, and I think also part of that is due to Newcastle. I felt like we're just counter us and just shut up, as you saw, right? But I just think, for me, I just look at that game, I'm just like, it was just a must not lose game, bro. I would just be happy leaving that game with a draw. Why? He decided to be an idiot, bro, is just beyond me, bro. Because the thing about him, he's been doing these little idiot, stuff for quite a while, bro. And what he will do, is that he'll either push into a player, start barging into them, having fights with them, and he's a consistent yellow card guy on our team. Like, he gets yellow cards probably on average per game. So for me, it's just control your emotions, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's frustration, isn't it? It's out of frustration.
But he's been doing that the whole season.
That's what I was going to say. It's not the first time he's done that. Yeah. I agree, bro.
He's messed up for you guys, because you play better than striker, isn't it? You play better than striker.
You played well today, though, Ahmed. I'm not going to lie, even with 10 men.
Newcastle away, when you need a win, is one of the toughest places to go to.
Yeah, 100%.
Last year basically won it with the Oscar Bob last-minute winner. Like, I've only won one game there in the last few years, and it was a 1-0 win with Odegaard scoring a screamer. Their ground is probably one of the toughest grounds to go to if you need a win. So,
but the thing is, my issue is, I don't even need just a win, bro. I can just leave there with a draw, and I can call it happy days, right? What I'm not understanding here is just the mentality shift that the team to an extent that they came into the game with, and then also the way that Jackson did stuff as well, which is just quite poor. That's what it just comes down to for me. And now I have to go to a Manchester United game where I have to win that game on Friday now. Like, that is do or die. Just go win that game, right?
The game on Friday.
Listen, that is the most
at Stamford Bridge. At Stamford Bridge on Friday.
3 points you could possibly imagine. Knows it, man.
Listen, at Stamford Bridge on Friday, I have to win that game no matter what. And then after that,
United. Oh my god!
And then obviously we've got Forest afterwards, isn't it? We got the.
Isn't it funny? Wolfie was on the other day, right? Wolfie was on the other day. They were like, hopefully we can just like both do like a friendly draw, like Australia, Germany.
Do you know what's funny there, Raj? Do you know what's funny? All of us, right? I think, remember, Josh, who's the Aston Villa fan. We were greeting and cooking him, saying he's out of this thing. And now it's him who looks like he has an advantage. Wolfie, and Chelsea, we look like we're the ones who are panicking. I'm telling you, man, nobody wants this. Nobody wants this top 5. And it's the most mid-off I've ever seen.
Hamza was telling me yesterday, you better not lose to Liverpool because we're going to be level on points with you. Now it's like, we you know what,
man? We might need Arsenal to do us a favor, bro. In midweek.
Against who?
Against Newcastle. Against Newcastle, man.
No, you know what? I actually don't think Newcastle can beat us at our ground on our final day of the season. Our final game of the season.
I think they will beat you.
Final game of the season at the Emirates. We don't lose, bro.
Yeah, do you know what? You can't imagine losing that game. Yeah, no, that's a big one. That's a big one.
That'd be funny.
That would be funny. But imagine the bad feeling that would be close your season off at home like that.
Do you know what's gonna be funny, Gao? If you also end up drawing with Southampton, but I don't think you would. I think you would beat them.
Also, don't forget, Declan Rice got rested because he's been playing non-stop. for like the last couple months. No rest, no minutes
So
off.
he wasn't injured, isn't it? That's a good one.
He wasn't injured. He just got rest. So yeah, let's see if he's back for that Newcastle game.
Can I ask you a question, Igal? Obviously,
No, I want to stay on the Newcastle thing for a second.
Yeah, no, it's a question relating to that. Based on all this, right? Let me ask you, Igal. Based on all this, who is it more embarrassing for? Would it be embarrassing for Arsenal and City, or it's going to be embarrassing for everybody, for like Forest being there at the top, or it's actually just you and us, Chelsea? If we don't make top 5, who is it going to be more embarrassing for?
The most embarrassing team it would be if they don't get top 5 is Arsenal.
Chelsea.
Because
Arsenal, but Arsenal are going to get top 5.
Arsenal have been here the most, right? Man City, if they don't get it this season, you kind of will get excused because you've had the year from hell.
We spent in January.
Yeah. And then everybody below you, the only team then that would get stick if they don't get it is Chelsea. Let's be honest. Newcastle don't get it, or if they get it, they're not going to get that much banter or stick. Nottingham Forest, they get it or they don't get it. They're not going to get that much stick. The main 3 clubs that are going to get
apart from their own owner. Did you see him at the end of the game?
From their own owner.
That was crazy, bro. Who's he having a go at? The manager.
The manager.
You don't do that, man. Is he getting sacked?
Do you know what's embarrassing? Did you take them from the bottom? They were 15.
I think he would resign.
No,
imagine someone did that to you. Wouldn't you resign?
Yeah. That's in front of everyone as well.
It was rude, man. It was rude.
Is that the last game?
Right?
Is that the last game of the season?
I thought he was Turkish.
No, they got one more. They got Chelsea last game. They got Chelsea last game of the season.
You know that reminded me of Turkey when the guy came out and came out at the guy that was yeah, the man was moving mad.
That's been ungrateful. He took them from 15th, man. They were supposed to go down. And he's brought them to.
And actually, that point guaranteed them European football for next season, the first time in 40 years, I think it was. So,
this is football, though. Now, when you have an owner who has ambition to get somewhere, and you've overachieved, they want you to achieve even more.
Well, and look, the thing is also financially, that's the difference in maybe Europa League. Look, they're probably not going to win it, but that may be the difference between getting 10 million and getting 60 million or 50 million or something like that, right? I kind of get it, but it's just not right to do it on the pitch.
Hey, Nottingham Forest are bottle jobs because 81st minute they dropped that game. They could have won it. But Ahmed, bringing it back to Chelsea quickly, I just want to say the reason why people get onto Cole Palmer is because his drop in form is coinciding with at the same time that Chelsea need the wins the most. And since the beginning of the new year, he has been struggling. Could that be because his partner in crime, Jackson, has also not been up to scratch lately also? Do you think the fact that both of them have been poor and injured and coming out of the team has been the main reason why Chelsea have struggled offensively?
To be fair, Palmer's only been injured for I think maximum 2 games this season. And that's pretty much it. Jackson's been out for a while. I can maybe understand that point of view, obviously. But I just think for me, it's a bit different. I think it's a bit more different than that. I think it's a bit more to do with the playmaking, the way we do stuff. That's what I mean by. That's what I think. That's what I would probably make the argument for.
So is it on Maresca then? Is Palmer?
I think it's a big part of it is obviously on the player himself. And then I think B is also on the actual. I think the system at times does not also help him out as well, right? He's still getting used to the system, stuff like that. So I think it's just a little bit of both, really. That's all it is.
You guys always ask me about Arteta, so it would be unjust if I didn't ask the same. Maresca, if he does not get Champions League football, and you don't win the Conference League, is he gone?
I said Samir Nasri, you know.
The thing is, if he loses Conference League, then he has to go.
That's
what did you say?
I mean, if he loses Conference League, he has to go, isn't it?
So someone said in the chat.
Oh, that you look like someone.
Yeah. So Maresca loses the Conference League, he's gone. Maresca doesn't get Champions League football, he's gone.
I don't think he's going to be gone if you get Champions League football. I think from a club perspective. So if
you don't get Champions League football,
yeah, I don't think he's going to go. So I don't think. Okay, I think the problem we have there is that because there's like you've got Club World Cup, and the Club World Cup starts from our Conference League final. I think like 3 or 4 weeks away from then. It's going to be too much of a time to switch coaches. At least so. I don't see it happening.
Club World Cup. I mean, I don't think people are really like deep in like this Club World Cup that's coming up. There's not really that much buzz about it, but that's gonna throw a bit of a spanner in the works in terms of like recruitment to some extent. It's gonna be weird having that just around the corner.
I hear they changed the transfer window. They're gonna open it for 6 days, close it for 9 days, and then reopen it.
And the money is mad, so teams will take this seriously because the money is mad. And I hear they signed something. Ahmad, did you hear that they signed something that you're not gonna field kids? Yeah, like the kids they want to make sure. Yeah, so there's a sign that you have to bring your stars. So yeah, you're right.
By the way,
the thing is because of I think people are just because like that if it's financially so important for a lot of these teams that they're gonna do everything in their power to make it to do well.
And the thing is, the problem with the World Cup is right now, I think people are kind of gambling a little bit on it as well because it may not be seen as that prestigious now. Like when the World Cup first started, Uruguay won the first World Cup. England didn't even bother entering because they thought it was good. They didn't think it was going to catch on, right? But 50 years down the line, 60 years down, 70 years down the line, it became much more prestigious competition. If you look at Uruguay now, the thing they still boast about now is the fact they won the first 2 World Cups, right? So maybe, and I think that's something that will play a part in people's preparation. You can tell Real Madrid are taking it seriously because if they win that,
they are.
Bro, imagine they turn the Community Shield into a 4-team tournament to start the season. Everyone.
The problem with the Community Shield is that it will never be taken seriously because it's a preseason trophy.
Because people take the Copa, what do you call it, Italia serious. It's really the same thing.
Look at it, guys! It's trying to reach prestige.
It's more of a cultural thing, though. It is more of a cultural thing. Like I've lived in Italy, that they take it a bit more serious than we do, but ultimately, it's not the be all and end all. The Coppa Italia is more important than the Italian Super Cup.
All right, let's get to Manchester United and M's team embarrassing them. And you know what? While we're at it, let's just include Spurs in the conversation also because they also lost. As you guys, in case you don't know, Manchester United are currently sitting 16th. Spurs are currently sitting 17th.
I've got to go, Gal, but
no worries. Big up, bro. Big up, man. Thank you for joining. But yeah, as for Manchester United and Spurs, they both lost today. They both are embarrassing. And the thing is, they both have a chance to win a European trophy. It's kind of crazy.
But United have a minus 11 goal difference, and Spurs have a plus 4 goal difference as well. Like they're separated by 1 point, but Man United have got a significantly worse goal difference. Like I've never seen United like this.
It's the worst home record since 1930.
You know what's making me laugh? Like somebody, I think I don't know who did it, was trying to put a positive spin to it, saying that Amaron though has done this before, where he's come to a place and then he does well in a cup, then he brings the team back. But this is bad though. This is the most embarrassing I think I've seen United in a while. No, this is the worst one. I think the first funny thing is, you know what, Ten Hag was being slagged, right? And they keep telling me that Ten Hag was that horrible, but I never saw him this low. I used to still fear Ten Hag in certain games. He used to do something. I don't know if this guy, by some miracle, obviously we've seen Nuno where he took them 15th, and if this Amaron guy next season maybe gets back into the Champions League, wins the Europa, and then maybe gets players in, and he takes this United team, how bad they are, ends them up in top 4 again, or maybe competing, it'll be a miracle. It'll be a miracle because this is bad. Minus 11. That's the same as minus as what other team is also doing this bad? That's bad. What position are you, by the way? Give me a minute.
What is it, 15th or 16th?
Oh my God, you're 16th and you haven't even reached 40 points and it's 36 games.
No, it's our worst season for sure, man.
And you know your next game is Chelsea.
Yeah, no, this Premier League season's a write-off. Like we all know this. I don't know why. Like I expected a performance today, because allowed you to be
relegated last season with those points.
Yeah,
probably
maybe.
not. I don't know.
Would have.
39 is you're pretty close to being safe if you're 39, 40 points, but it's just you're not used to seeing United down. I've never seen in the whole time that I've been watching football, I've never seen United this bad. Like Liverpool have been bad, right? We've had 2 seasons, I think, when we finished 8th or 7th or 8th. and they were awful. Like it's almost you're my main rival, right? So I kind of have to laugh, but at the same time, I'm like, how's it got this bad for United? I honestly, you're a better man than me, because I think if Liverpool were in this situation, I would not be going on any streams. I'd be like, you know what? See you later.
I hear you, bro.
You know that they're just lucky. So United and Tottenham are just lucky the fact that the three teams were that bad. I think if those three teams were, like how back in the day some of the teams give a bit of a fight, I think you guys could have been getting dragged down there with them. That's bad.
Yeah. No, it's just at the moment it's a bit like what you said, right? Like at this point you can't do anything but laugh, right? Like it's bad. But I'm hoping that it can't get any worse. And I did say this under Erik ten Hag, and it got much worse. So at this point, it's like he hasn't got his players, but he's losing a lot of the backing from the fans. So going into next season, he's gonna get about 4 or 5 players. But again, I don't know. At this point, I don't even think we can beat Spurs. I'm confident because it's Spurs and they've never won a trophy, and it's Man United, and we usually do turn up in finals. I'm confident that we can win, but will we? I don't know.
That's the thing, because like I think we've mentioned it before, right? The thing with Ten Hag was he had a poor end to the season, but obviously he won the cup. That and the fact that he got his contract, I think United fans gave him a little bit of leeway. But then when the following season started poorly, you just don't have any wiggle room. If you guys don't, regardless of whether you get Champions League football or not, or win the Europa League or not. If, for example, your first 10 games, let's say first 5 games, say for example you win 2 and lose 3, or you end up with like 4 or 5 points or whatever the case may be, it's gonna get toxic pretty damn quick.
Yeah. He needs to win. For me, I said it. I was like, bro, he needs to win at least 6 or 7 out of his first 10, bro. Because if he doesn't and we start dropping off, I don't think the owners are going to wait around. They already gave him a 2-year deal, so he's already into half of his deal. Next season, you're going to have another, by December, if he doesn't change it around. But again, like some fans are just so scared to call out this manager. I'll be honest with you. Like every show that I've gone on, no one wants to call out this manager because obviously he hasn't been here for long enough and he hasn't got his players. And I get it. There's so many excuses for that. But I'm just like, you have to show me something, man. And I get it. The players are bad, 100%. Like if you watch today's performance as well, Højlund missing sitters. But it's nothing new. Like I haven't learned nothing new watching this team for the last 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, but they're not 16 bad, are they? I think if we keep it 100%,
but that's what I mean. Yeah, they're not.
It's not 16 bad. It's not 16 bad.
But the thing about your team is completely switched off in the league. They could not care, and that comes from the manager basically rotating the teams. And I don't think they're going to be up for games, especially away from home.
But we're losing a lot of games at home now as well. Like 13 games this season lost at home, which is like I said, that's another record broken. Last time we done that was in 1930.
You've lost.
Today's game,
17 games. 17 games.
Today's game being at home, even your home crop probably were not up for it. Let's be honest.
Spurs have lost 20.
It's hard. It's hard not to be up for it because, bro, like I get it. The season's done, but you have to make a better account of yourself. There's no way some of these players can go home and get in that changing room today and be like, yeah, you know what? It is what it is. We lost 2-0 to West Ham.
There is an elephant in the room. Rasmus Højlund, guys. Oh my God.
I think everyone knows. I mean, how long have I been calling out this guy? I've been calling out this guy for ages, bro, and there's nothing we can do with that.
He had 6 shots today. 6 shots today. And I swear to you, like 4 of them are guaranteed goals.
Yeah, sometimes, bro, he's not. He had a few headers as well. There's a few times the ball got crossed in the box, and he's just either late to it. So again, nothing new there, bro. Nothing new.
Him and Nunes have stank, isn't it? They've just stank.
Oh no, I'll take Nunes over Højlund. That's how bad it is, bro. I swear.
Also, Areola, we gotta give him credit. The West Ham keeper stood on his head today.
Yeah, no, he I don't know. He had a few shaky moments in the first half, but he done all right. I'm not gonna sit there and be like he had an amazing game. I just felt like we were poor. We were just so poor, bro. Like we just can't seem to score. We can't seem to score one. We just can't score, bro. And I've realized something as well. Every team has got like at least two to three players that you can see that can get you a goal. I think Liverpool's got at least 4 or 5 of them. You know, City, you've got about 4 or 5 players. We're like, you know what? I can see you getting us through the over the line this game. I can see where the goals are. Arsenal, you've got West Ham. Even West Ham, I've got that. You look at Kudos, you look at Bowen, they've all got that. When I look at this United team, and I'm like, Højlund, Garnacho, Bruno, Mount. Fair enough, he scored 2 goals in the Europa League, but
Ahmed though is good, isn't it?
Ahmed, but bro, come on, he's the only bright spark at this point. Every time he comes on, he has a good game, but it's just like the first goal. I think it was his fault as well defensively because I think he's just missed time.
Shout out to the super chatter, Handsome Bob. Watching the stream from the beginning, the wrath versus the tifo is crazy. I don't go down that road.
The wreath. He's talking about the Hillsborough thing versus the Arteta flag thing.
Yeah. You know what? You change the conversation from that. I get it. I get where you guys are coming from, and obviously, I think some people were point scoring, and even myself. That was. I'm not gonna say I was trying to do it in a malicious way, but some of the people doing it online definitely are looking at it from malicious aspects. So my bad for that, right? Anyways, when it comes to what we're talking about, Rack, just going online, just seeing some of the responses lately, I realized like, yeah, you're definitely right. That was a little bit bad taste from me. As for
look, the thing is, everyone makes mistakes or whatever, right? Like, we've known each other for years, right? I know you're not doing anything maliciously.
Yes.
And I understand people are going to have some people are going to brush over it, and that's me, and you're taking it more seriously. But I genuinely don't think there was any it was meant to hurt people or disrespect him in that way. He was making fun of him. But anyway, we've talked about it. We've done it to death. Let's talk about United again.
The team. Bro, the way I analyze Manchester United and Spurs is very simple. Let's just look at this. Let me show you something, right? This is West Ham's team versus Manchester United's team. When you have more players that you rate on the other team than your own team, it just goes to show you that the quality level is not too far apart. So the front three, safe to say, Kudus, Bowen, you take them right away at Man United, right? Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. Souček walks into your team, right? Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Soufal, the rest of the guys, I'm not really saying too much about them. But then the goalkeeper, you take him. So the two most important parts of the pitch, the goalkeeper and the front three, they have over you, right? No coincidence you lose that game. And then now look at the same thing with Spurs. Spurs versus Palace. You're going to laugh because you're going to say, no, Spurs have a better team than Palace, right? Surely. But then you look at it and you say to yourself, do they? Mateta's better than whatever they had up front. Eze and Sarr are better than, let's be Odegaard and Tel at this moment in time with the lack of experience that they have. Their defenders that they played in this game, with them resting their guys for the Europa League, not trying to get them injured. The Palace had better defenders. The keeper had one good game, but really and truly, Henderson and the keeper, not too much difference between them. The only place where they have an advantage is the midfield, and even then, that's inexperienced Gray, Sarr, who's still very young, and Bentancur, who played 45 minutes.
Yeah,
so Spurs are not taking it serious. Spurs are not taking it serious. Man United is not taking it serious. These teams in the Premier League are too good for you guys to putting out B teams thinking you're going to beat them. It's not the League Cup.
Do you know what's funny though? Do you know that I've just
the Europa League finals is in 10 days. It's the 21st of May.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's the week after next. So you have to take
midweek.
Yeah.
They've lost 20 games, man. Do you know 20 games? How many? 20 games. You know
what?
All right, Patrick. How do you do
Patrick, all right.
Not
all right,
you.
all right.
I'm talking about Spurs. You've lost.
All right. No, I thought you just said, bro. All right, man.
No. I'm not talking about you. You've lost 17. But
we're supposed to be friends here, man. We're supposed to be friends. Even I'm
No.
Not about.
No, you guys are 17, but Spurs is 20, man. Just do 20 minus 38. Like that's almost more than half. Oh, that's bad. I'm sorry. That's bad. Spurs fans, I get what Spurs fans are saying. Even if he wins the trophy, he has to go. Because that's what Spurs fans are saying.
All I'm saying is, Man United, Spurs, whoever wins the Europa League, you still can't chat to us because you've had such a poor season in the league. You've been miserable all year. You can be happy about your trophy, but don't go and start shaking it in front of other people, making fun of them. Because really and truly, you guys could be in a similar situation next year if you don't make massive improvements.
Hey, Cal, you lot haven't been
100%,
jumping for joy the whole season either.
That's what I'm saying.
You
No,
have
but like,
won games.
if you finish third,
we definitely were jumping for joy when we beat Real Madrid. We definitely
not all season.
We were definitely jumping for joy for a lot of these games in the league where we beat teams that.
But whichever team wins the Europa League is also going to be jumping for joy, right? We need to see what happens throughout the whole.
I'm also, bro, you would rather be up in the Champions League positions, competing and being competitive, than knowing you got in through the back door. And for Manchester United, it's even more different.
It's different for Spurs than it is for United, right? Because
listen to United. United didn't even get Europa League through the league. They got Europa League through a trophy, and now they could potentially be getting Champions League football through that same trophy that they got a trophy.
Heritage, Gal. So football heritage.
They could be getting Champions League football from 16th position, not qualifying for Europe for 2 years in a row.
I think that's a masterclass.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you can't write that shit. So you know what? We don't even need. Why do we need to turn up for 38 games a season when we can just turn up?
Yeah. You know what? The crazy thing is, you could do that, get in the Champions League. Next season, you might finish 20th or 19th or 17th and win the Champions League.
Bro, you never know. Bro, this is what I'm saying. Bro, this is what I'm saying. I get what Agal's saying, but Agal, if you finish third, and we win the Europa League, like, obviously, bro, like, we're both going to get Champions League football. Minor difference is we've got a trophy in the season. That's how you look at it.
I would be pissed off if Utd did that, you know?
I'm just going to say this. If Spurs, Chelsea, or Manchester United win the Premier League or the Champions League before Arsenal do in the current iteration that we have in these teams, that right there is the biggest failure in footballing history.
If Spurs win. Wait, for who? For Arsenal or Man United?
I'm saying, like, you can win the league, you can win the FA Cup, you can win the Europa League.
He's saying for Arsenal.
You can win the Conference League. You could even win the League Cup. But if you guys ever win the Premier League or the Champions League and overtake Arsenal in the stage that we're in right now, and we end up doing like a Spurs where we don't end up winning any major honors, then
the problem is
our sporting project right now is up there with some of the best teams in Europe.
But hold on, but this is next season. That's Arteta's 7th year, is it? 7th?
Yeah, 7th.
Yeah, brother. You need trophies now.
But you know something? You know something? I would not sack Arteta because I don't think Arteta is the problem. The attack is the problem. You're not going to find a better manager or coach or problem solver than Arteta at this moment.
But he's got to win trophies, bro. Do you know what I mean? You can't be giving that money. You're probably going to spend another 100 million on a striker this summer again.
We're speaking the same language. Do you want to speak Arabic? We can do that too.
Do you speak Arabic, Miguel? Do you speak Arabic?
Shway.
He's learning.
Look at him. This guy.
A little bit.
Yeah. Anyways, listen.
The only thing I'd say
I am not. 1 second. Somebody said I'm jealous. Understand. I'm not.
You should be jealous.
I'm not.
You should be jealous.
I am not jealous.
You should. Okay. You should praise those.
I am disgusted. I'm disgusted that a guy. This is the equivalent to somebody saying, "Oh, yo, I was on vacation in Barbados." And I was having a good time. And then other guy saying, yeah, I was on vacation in Leeds and I was chilling. Bro, I'm not getting jealous of the guy chilling in Leeds, bro.
Man, you're not moving up fraudsters right now, bro.
Let me give you an example of what this is. I think this is why it's hurting. It's like you go to the club, you go and speak to a girl all night, buy her drinks, and then one lad just walks in.
Yes, this guy just walks in, bro. And just gives it a look, and it's game over.
That's not the comparison. That's not the comparison.
I'm talking about United. I'm telling United getting the Champions League.
This is the comparison.
Do you know what? No, imagine there's 3 goals, and you tried to get all 3, and you failed on all 3, and Man United come and take 1.
This is the comparison. If you're gonna do that kind of comparison, this is the comparison. I'm talking to one of the nicest looking girls in the party, and this guy's chatting to a dead thing. He ends up going home with the dead thing, and I don't go home with nobody. But at the end of the day, he's going home with a dead thing. I don't care.
No.
Okay. But no,
That's
but
it's not a dead thing, because that dead thing is better than the thing that you were talking to, bro.
No,
You know what I mean?
the thing is, no, Igor,
Bro,
what happens is
I would rather be in the
if
Champions League competing for that than friggin' winning.
Igor, no, but Igor, what happens is that dead thing. Yeah, what's going to happen is that dead thing is the Europa League, right? He goes home to the Europa League. Suddenly, all of a sudden, that dead thing has a hot flatmate.
Yeah.
And that hot flatmate, he gets.
Oh no,
Champions League next year. That's the Champions League next year.
But that could be. Do you know? It could be that, or Rack. Well, literally, he had the banging thing, but then the makeup came off and realized it wasn't that. Do you know what I mean?
Now let's just be honest. It's going to be painful. Do you know what's going to be painful? If they go to the Champions League and actually do better or do something.
If the Champions League had the old format, Man City would have been knocked down to the Europa League. You would have lost to them.
Yeah, no. How do you know we wouldn't beat City? Why wouldn't?
I mean, they beat City this season. They beat City.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So why wouldn't we beat them again?
Maybe you do. Maybe you don't.
And bro, it's a one-off game, innit? Anything can happen. That's all I'm saying.
Anyways,
But there's also a difference between United and Spurs, right? Because United have been successful to varying degrees of success more recently, but Spurs haven't won something for a long time, right? I did a similar comparison when we were talking about West Ham winning the Conference League. I live in East London. I've got loads of friends who are West Ham fans. These fans have not seen a trophy in their lifetime, right? And people were saying when they won the Conference League, they were out on the streets celebrating. People criticized them, saying this is a dead trophy. But you haven't won a trophy in your whole lifetime. These guys are entitled to it. You're trying to dampen down their success. If Spurs win, of course, that's a massive thing for them because they haven't won something in such a long time. You can't. If you're neutral, you can't hate on that too much.
Honestly, it's like Mr. Bean trying to brag about a car with a little kid.
All these analogies, man. Mr. Bean, the club, what is going on? You know?
Anyways, some people saying I'm in denial. I'm not in denial. Spurs or Man United, whoever wins, that person can still not talk to me. Kiss my shoe. Anyways, we're out of here, people. Have a good one.
Kiss my shoe.
You're gonna have yourselves a good night. I'm out of here.
Those uncles.
Listen, you never heard that phrase? You never heard that?
Kiss my shoe.
Anyways, we're out of here, people. Catch you guys in the next one. Love for the love. I'm gonna send you guys over to Kaz's channel. So go check out Kaz's channel. He's gonna have a Man United debate show. And we're out of here, people. Love for the love. Peace.
Big up, man.